Hey guys, how are you doing? My name is Eunice and welcome back to my channel. In this episode, I will be talking to you about my personal experiences as an entrepreneur. I will also be explaining to you 8 mistakes I did throughout the period I had my company and what I would do differently this time around. Stay until the end to know about that. Let's jump right into it. It all started in 2013 when I was in Curacao and I decided to start a new business called Lucidity Consultancy. Later on, it changed into Lucidity Communications. There were two reasons why I started my company at that point. The first reason was because I wanted to become my own boss, I wanted to become an entrepreneur, and also because I wanted to be more creative or have the flexibility to be more creative within my own range and not within the range of the guidelines of an existing company. My second reason was out of necessity. At that point, I didn't have a job and I really wanted to do something. I really want to work. I really wanted to earn money. So I started my own company at that point based on my own knowledge of marketing and communication. Throughout the period, I've learned a lot. I've experienced the positive and the negative sides of having an own company, and that is why also right now I am able to give you my 8 mistakes and how I would actually change or how I would do things differently this time around. So let's get right into it. My first name was Lucidity Consultancy. There's nothing wrong with the name, but at one point I have noticed I was not getting any customers. One, because people didn't really know me, and also consultancy is seen as higher end and more expensive. At that point, when I identified that problem, I decided to switch the consultancy into communications. And at that point, people could actually understand what it is about and people could also relate to what I was selling. That was also noticeable with the target audiences, that I was starting to get the upstarting companies and or semi-established companies as well as a client. And that's why it was very easy for me at that point as well to get clients, because people could, from the name already, read that my company is about communications, and so they could really much ask me, hey, I need a press release or I need something for social media, can you help me? And I've noticed that I was catering the right target audience at that point in time. If I would start all over again with the company, I would choose the right name from the get-go and not really wait until a year or two to switch up the name. My second point is find the right requirements or the right information from the get-go and not wait until the end to find them. In my case, I was so excited to start this new business that I overlooked the disclaimer. So let's say you have the contract and then the disclaimer below. I didn't really go into deep into the disclaimer, which I actually really had to do. And that is because my focus was mostly push the company out there, work on the marketing, work on the sales, but I didn't really focus on the administrative part or the financial part. And right now I would advise myself to dig deep and ask people questions before you really jump into it and start doing something on your own. My third point is work with what you know best and leave the rest to a professional or an expert in that field. In my case, my strong points were sales and marketing and not much into the administrative and financial part, which cost me not only time but also money at the end. It cost me time because I really had to learn how to work with softwares and or go through taxes and everything. But at the end of the day, it also did cost me much more money than expected because I hired a third party to take care of my taxes at the end of the year. And well, there were a few mistakes done in between somewhere, and that cost actually more money, more hourly fees than I wanted. So I really wanted to make it as cheap as possible for myself, but at the end it ended up being much more expensive than I thought, with a bunch of mistakes in it as well. If I would have to advise myself what to do, I would say invest in a person that actually knows about administrative items and finance, and collaborate with them if necessary. My fourth point was pricing. I had an hourly fee, which it wasn't bad, but at one point there were several issues around that hourly fee. One of the issues were that people tend to say, "Oh, hey, it's a high price, so what about you lower it a little bit?" And I actually took that into consideration to lower the price and give the same amount of service and or value to them. But at the end of the month, it didn't really show in my bank account for all the work that I did and the money I got for it. I was not happy with that. The other point was I had a tendency to lower my price just to keep the client or get the client. If I have to advise myself what to do back then, right now, I would say 1, work on your pricing strategy. 2, do not lower the price because you know your value and worth. My number 5 is services. At that point, I had a list of at least 5 services that I wanted to offer, but at the end of the day, I took only one of them seriously and kind of neglected the other ones. And if I would have to advise myself at this moment what to do back then, I would say do not neglect the other one because the other ones were the unique selling points. I decided to strictly back then go with social media marketing or social media management because people were asking for it. But at the end of the day, I wasn't really happy with it because I wanted to do the other things as well, but people weren't really asking for them. So I would also advise myself in that case, find a strategy that works and to push the other services to create the unique selling point that you wanted. My number 6 is online business opportunities. Back then, it wasn't really popular in Curacao to work with online services and or online products, but I had 3 very, very cool services that I really wanted to do, but I didn't do them, and now I kind of regret it. But those 3 services, I neglected them because of 1, I was afraid to be different and not getting any response. Number 2, it was mostly because I really wanted to make the customer journey or the customer experience the best. And in my head, it was impossible to do that if the online payment system, like we have in Curacao, is not intact. For instance, you can order items on Amazon.com or you can just purchase presets or modules online very easily. In Curacao, that is not possible. And at that point, I really took that as, oh, if I cannot do that, then my company or my ideas won't succeed. Advising myself again what to do, I would say stick to the plans, stick to the opportunities you see or you saw, and go for it. If it fails, you fall, you get back up, you move on. And if it doesn't fail, that means you've kind of succeeded, and keep on doing what you're doing. My number 7 is the thing I least liked about being an entrepreneur, which was networking. That was just something. And the reason why it was something is because I'm the introvert type. So for me, it was very difficult to go and be social. I would go to events and I would just go to the presentation and then leave, literally leave. Or I would go to the event, stay throughout the whole presentation, go to happy hour, but I didn't really connect with people because I was waiting for people to come to me. What I would advise myself right now is to find a buddy, a network buddy to go with that is social, of course, because if we are both introverts, then the strategy won't work. But find a person that you can go with, and he will become then the icebreaker between you and the potential client. And see it as a teamwork as well, that eventually maybe you guys can work together for a major project for that specific person as well. Number 8, I have be the face of the company. That's what I'm doing right now. I'm being the face of my page. And the reason why I have this as number 8 is because at that point, people did not link me with the company. So they did know I had a company, but they couldn't really pinpoint which company it was, or they know about the company, but they couldn't put a face to it. And I've noticed that is not the way to go either, especially if you are an entrepreneur and you are mostly alone, or at least it didn't work for me. My tip to myself would be what I'm doing right now: suck it up, stand in front of the camera and do your thing. There's no such thing as mistakes, because from mistakes you learn. But at the end of the day, your face is out there, you're putting yourself out there, you are sharing your knowledge, and that also means by sharing the knowledge, you welcome people to get to know you as a person, and also get to know you with your company, which is a plus situation. Throughout the 5 years of Lucidity Communications, I've learned the positive and the negative and the less fun things of being an entrepreneur. And that also gave me the opportunity to advise other people, identify issues or problems within a company, and how to tackle them, and advise people how to tackle them. And that is why also I was very excited to share these points with you, because I didn't have that person, or I didn't even use YouTube to find out what it's like to be an entrepreneur, and especially in Curacao. And I am very happy that I'm able to share this with you, and also I hope that you take some of the information and incorporate it in your business, or if you are going to start a business, take these points as additional pointers before you start the company, which I know it will be completely successful. Thank you so much for watching. Please subscribe, like, and share to my page, and follow me on my social media accounts, and see you soon.